No, I'm gonna have to do this because this is gonna be get out of control. Okay. That's better. I can't believe this, y'all. Well, I'm gonna get right on into it. I'm just not gonna wait any longer because I know there is
And I'm just grateful that now, the more we're talking about these things, we could educate one another so we can be able to see
yes, I
red
just wanted to
flags
talk about this. I wasn't
or
gonna really touch
indicate
this
what a boyfriend
topic.
isn't.
To be
A
honest
lot
with
of times we
everybody,
may have some indications. If you
I'm just gonna turn this
really
down
have
some. I wasn't really gonna talk about this anymore. I just wanted to really try to get away from it and not really get too involved into it. But the more I gotta turn the light on. I don't know what's going on here. But it's like the more um oh god, I can close the blinds here because I see a little light getting in my way here. But the more developing details of this story is starting to come in, the more it pulls at your heartstring, the more, frustrating it is that this young lady, Shanquilla Robinson, my heart really truly goes out to her mother and father for this. I mean, really truly goes out to Sam, her mother, and also to her father. I can't really right now pronounce her mother's name. It's a very difficult name for me to pronounce, but when I came to find out that this young lady actually went to the same university with my nephew, my younger nephew now. This is my baby nephew. This is the baby of the whole bunch. And I called him and I said, when I found out she went to Winston-Salem University, I said, oh my God, my nephew went there, and really, really touched so much in my heart is that he's my sister's only child, and his last name is also Robinson. Him and Shanquella were in the same graduating class of 2019, 2018, 2019, the same age. Well, he'll be turning 25 this year coming, and Tranquilla would have been 26. And another thing that touched me about um, Sanquilla is that when I realized her birthday also falls a day after R. Kelly's birthday, which everybody's like, well, how R. Kelly got to be thrown into this? But I'm just saying, like, how it touched me. Like, and my nephew's birthday is a day after her birthday. So I was like, oh my God, the way everything is just falling like that, like the injustice that this girl has been served, going on a vacation, thinking she was going with some people she can trust, people she feel could be safe around or whatever. And then next thing you know, they unalived her. They first, before they unalived her, they humiliated her. They all came around in one room where she was staying at in the villa in Cabo, Mexico, on this resort with some friends for the celebration of some friend's birthday, and was out there trying to fit in, trying to have fun, trying to just be young and enjoy life, and for something like this to have happened, that she didn't even know and expect that this would have been her last moment of her life. And for her mother to get that phone call that your child is deceased and just spoke to your child just the day before, making sure she arrived safely and everything was going okay, and your child was in good spirits and telling you, yeah, ma, and We about to have a chef coming. The chef is about to come in. We're gonna have some tacos and some salad. And mom is saying, okay, my baby's safe, so let me go and you know rest in my bed, and I'll talk with you later. Settle when you settle. Talk with you later, or whatever like that. After she had this conversation with her mother, and then on top of that, it's like, who would expect to get a phone call within 24 hours and the news is devastating that your baby girl is dead? And when you spoke to these people earlier on the phone, of that day, during that, I don't know how everything fell into the timeline. When was the last you spoke, when these people called and told you at first she was resting and sick? Hey, Tavia the Savior, how are you? That your daughter was resting and she was sick and she was being, she was throwing up because she was had some, Tavia the Savior. I mean, this thing really touched me so deeply. You just don't know how this story has touched me, because I wasn't going to touch this story until I said, let me find out more and more information, really what's going on. And then when I realized she went to school with my nephew at Winston-Salem University in North Carolina, and also her and my nephew shared around the same time of the year. Well, their birthdays are a year apart, but they both, you know what I mean, at the same, and how he is such a, oh my God, Jesus, just thinking about it, I've been talking about it so much with my family. Girl, my sister cried with me, thinking about her own baby, her only child. Just to imagine, to be thinking you got friends that you go on vacation with, and the next thing you know, they all gang around and beat you up and break your neck and break your spine, and just send a message back home to your parents to tell them that you had alcohol poisoning, and tell some lie and come back without you, and come to your house, came to her parents' house, her mother's house, with her things, sat with the mother and everything, and ate from this woman food, and told and lie in her face and tell her that your child died of alcohol poisoning, but you left her there instead of just staying and waiting until the body was examined, and waiting for the family to get there. Just wait for them to see what the next move to do to bring the body back with you. Travel back with the body. This was your friend that came along on this trip along with you, and I don't know what's wrong with these young people today. Who's raising them? They so evil, so hateful. Who are raising you? How could they have done that? They humiliated this girl. They beat her, broke her back. Even when she didn't even surrender to fight them, they still, that Dejanay, or whatever the hell her name is, or whoever this person is. Boy, this brought so much tears to my eyes. I couldn't stop crying. I didn't have a clue what was going on. I've been sick. I've been dealing with my own, sickness. I was dealing with my own sickness, and I was really like, in a lot of, things that oh my God, was going through in my own spirit and stuff. And something just touched me, and then this story just kept popping up, popping up, popping up. And I spoke to somebody, a friend, and they asked me, did I hear about it? And I said, no, I ain't know what was going on. So then the next thing you know, when I saw this Shanquilla thing kept coming on, and I think I found out about this. I started following this since last week. I went on Nick on Nights, and she talked about it. And it's just not a very, this is such a hard conversation to have, but it has to be a conversation because of what has happened to this young lady. They took her to a foreign land just so that they can do what they could do to her and try to get away with it. They took her to a foreign place, away from her family, away from her real friends, away from everything that loved her, just so that they can destroy this woman's life, this young woman's life, this young lady's life. How wicked can that be? That was cruelty. I never, I'm going to say this. I always try to look at things from a different angle. I try not to jump on the bandwagon at all to, you know, be a part of anything like, especially trending news topics and stuff, because I don't really know. When I said I don't know the person and I didn't know nothing about them, and then it touched me. I do know the person. I do know something about them. They have went to school with a family, a child from my family in the same college. And my nephew was a very, you know, I would say he's not like the kind of guy that hang out, got his boys. Yeah, we gonna rock, we gonna roll, we gonna do this. He had one friend. That's when he was growing up and from elementary school and middle school and all that other stuff. And I had to pull him away from all of that. I had to intervene with all of that. I had to interrupt all of that. Something about that family I started seeing, and these kind of people he started hanging around. I just didn't. He resented me for it, but then again, it's okay because I was doing it to protect him. That's another story because he's such a lonely because his mother traveled all the time. He had to travel all the time with his mother, with her career and all this other stuff. So he never really like had a chance to really make a whole big community of friends, meet a whole. He felt, being the only child, he's lonely or whatever like that, and spoiled, and mommy takes care of a lot of things. That's another thing. But when I said I didn't know Shanquella, and then when I look back at my family history of my grandfather, my mother's maiden name was a Robinson, where that name could be a relative of mine, that could be somebody related to me from my family history. I didn't even look at all of that until after a while I started doing some soul searching, and then I realized that this little girl could be my niece. This little young lady could be related to me through a distant relative. Or maybe somebody I never met, or maybe related to my nephew, because he's also a Robinson. His father's people are Robinsons, and he also attended the same school, Winston-Salem University, along. And I asked my nephew, "Do you know any of these people?" He says, "No, but I don't know them. I don't know Shanquilla. I didn't know her, but I know, now that he's been following the story." And of course, the other ones, I'm pretty sure they didn't go to the same school. I don't know. I don't know. He don't know these people. But anyway, yes, a lot of people have the same last names, but if you go through family history and family things, it kind of touches you like it could be my relative. It could be related to me. It could be somebody related to me. But I'm just saying, like, just the fact that it touches me in the way that it's my family, and I have a child in my family as well who's not really a outgoing, person or whatever, and wanted that life of in the sports world or whatever like that. But I'm glad he's safe where he's at, and I pray to God that he's, it's sad that you want them to be more prosperous and you don't want them to get stuck in one place. But I'm just like, the way these young people are today. Sometimes it's good if they just want to just be left alone and be by themselves and just be who they are quietly by themselves, because you don't want them to have, because these friends today mean no friend, no good. After what happened to Shanquilla, for that young man, that animal, and I don't care what nobody say, I truly believe he is the mastermind behind this whole destruction of her life. He's the mastermind. He was the friends to these women. He made sure that he brought these women to this trip to destroy and demolish and to humiliate and to do what they did to Shanquilla. If they can't get the person who did the direct attack, they should come for him. That's who should have been the first person. And I don't know, maybe they are coming for him and he skipped town. That's why they don't want to give the name. That's why they don't want to say. They just want to like trick us up and say they're looking for so the person won't get away. So they think we're just only coming to look for Dejanay, who was the direct attacker on Shanquilla's and was beating Shanquilla. That's the only video we saw of anybody putting their hands on Shanquilla before her untimely death. She is the only person that was caught in the camera and went viral all over the internet of her beating Shanquilla in that master bedroom of the villa. That morning, that Saturday morning in Mexico, or was it Saturday afternoon? And me personally, I think they drugged her. Me personally, when they had her look naked and she's standing in the room and she see all of them standing around, and I did hear somebody say before Dejanay made the attack, someone said, okay. And that's when you see for Dejanay reaches for Shanquilla and starts pounding on her. And then you hear the voice of a man say, aren't you going to fight back, Shanquilla? Do something. It's, Shanquilla says no. But see, Tavia the Savior, even though her mother says she might sleep naked or whatever like that, I doubt very much she's out in Cabo, Mexico, in a villa with a whole lot of friends. And anybody walking in that room, I don't think she was sleeping in that bed naked. They made sure they caught her off guards. Before she went in her room to go to sleep, I mean, she came out of her shower, out of the shower, ready to go to bed, or just got out of the shower that morning, just ready to start having her fun for that Saturday morning. They caught her off guards, and she was shocked. Or they drugged her and woke her up, and she was, because the way she was just standing there, and for somebody to be taking that many punches and not defending themselves, when somebody, either you were drugged or in a position of shock and didn't know what to do, your body just shut, everything just shut down, and you couldn't defend because you didn't realize what was going on. But more is going to come out. The story is developing more and more of new things are coming out each and every day. And when I realized that I thought, and I searched through videos that I saw and I was watching, and then especially from outlets from the media, of mainstream media or whatever like that, them giving their updates on what's taking place around the Cabo Six and about what's the federales over there in Mexico, them getting information to have a warrant issued for them to make an arrest to one of the direct attackers on Shanquilla, the 25 years old young lady. on Cabo, Mexico, when Mexico is now saying bring them in, we want them. We're going to deal with it at the highest level of our what is it called? Female, feminine, femicide of our law, and getting the femicide law is the highest level of punishment for their crime because of her being a female and being killed on that level. If they do it on homicide of her being a female or whatever, they just use it in their laws of their homicide law because of a fight or whatever. From some of the channels that I watch that talk on it on the legal side, on the jurisdiction side of their laws in Mexico, said that it would only be 12 years. But maybe they might put some more layers to it according to the crime. That 12 years plus those other things that might have been done, they might add on that would bring it up to more years. But other than that, but from FEMA side, it starts at the level of already. Because it's not like how we do from manslaughter and second degree, premeditated, whatever laws that we have on our scales, but they scales work differently, their jurisdiction work differently. Where there isn't any courtroom where you go sit before a juror, you have a legal aid, or you have a defense attorney by your side to defend you or speak for you in that courtroom or whatever. You're on your own, speaking to nobody but the clerk, and the judge is somewhere, probably may be in the room with you, but may not be in the room with you, and he make a decision to say, look, take them to so and so prison. Okay, they will do such and such amount of time at such and such and such a place. Now, I did go last night searching online, looking at some videos or whatever, just to see what it's like living in prison over in other countries. And one of the places that you don't want to go to jail at in prison is in Mexico, because Mexico prison is one of the worst of one of the 10 most prisons in the world. When they was showing prisons of how people got to survive in these places, women being in the prison and everything, the things that they do to them over there, the rape, the torture, the inhumane living, the places they gonna be in a rat hole. Food is bad. You ain't gonna get food by the FDA in prison in Mexico. Then I was listening to this one man who was in Mexico who did go to jail, a black man or whatever, and I was listening to his story. He opened up a YouTube channel, or whatever, and how he had to get out, how he was able to get out, and how was prison living in the prison in Mexico. Okay. And once you get hooked, once those cartel people get a hold of you, there's some things that you are forbid not to tell, or you die, or somebody in your family will die. Some of the disgusting things you had to do to survive in there while you were there in those cartels to help you to get out. What that you owe them. Unless you get hooked up with some cartel, and once you get hooked up with one of them, you are there for life. And let me tell you something, anything come out, whatever, they coming for you, boo. Mm, mm, mm. The gang life, the things you have to offer favors to do. I'm just saying. You could go and do your research yourself. You ain't got to listen to KC, me here telling you that. And as for the men, I would say, it's going to be hell. The men that were there in that room humiliating Shanquella, they are they ready for you, because I know they are ready for you. That this man already let that you disrespected Mexico. You brought that stuff around the most wealthiest, resort where their money is coming in and you messing with their money, okay? With your ratchet ass lifestyle and what you do in America. Even though America's probably more wealthier and richer and more, I would say, I wouldn't even civilized supposed to be than any other, than Mexico is, because Mexico is a very struggling, poor country. And most of their wealth coming through their resorts, the resorts, and through these villas and these travelers and through these tourist people that come over to Mexico. Okay, and you came down there just so you out of your jealousy, your resentfulness, your hatefulness, your just what you did to bring all that attention to Mexico about some young girl, some young woman coming down there with her friends on a vacation with some friends for to celebrate a birthday, and this is what y'all did to her life because y'all wanted what she had, jealous of what she had, because y'all didn't have it for yourselves. I don't care what nobody say. Khalil they should be on a manhunt right now for his ass. He should be the first one dragged in for all of this shit because he was the mastermind to this whole plot to destroy Shanquilla. Because he was the closest to Shanquilla. She wasn't close to the rest of them. She was close to Khalil. Mama said it out of her own mouth. Mama said she knew Khalil because Khalil was the only one coming to her house with her daughter, go on family vacate trips and everything with her family and all of that other stuff. Out of all of them, she said she knew only like two of them. But the one she knew the most was Khalil from college and school or whatever. He was the mastermind, like Kill Bill was the mastermind behind all those other women. Yes, it was jealousy. Jealousy. And it was Khalil. Khalil, he knew to bring Dejanay down there to beat. He had it all set up. Who was going to do? And if you look at that video when they all sitting at the table and they having their toast and they drink, he's sitting up there leading the pack. Okay? He's sitting up there like he is the kingpin. Talking about nobody do it like we do it. Nobody do it like we do it while they toasting. And on top of that, he's the one who's luring her into with all of them gathered in one room in that big old villa. In all those rooms, and everybody should be in their own place, in their own space, trying to get ready to get themselves together and go out swimming in the pool and by the pool they had out there and having supposed to be enjoying themselves right there for the weekend. They all gathered in this one room, but Shaquilla's got to go around the whole place looking for them through all those rooms, and they all in there. And he's some dude, I don't know if it was Khalil walking in front of Shanquilla as she had her camera like, where they at? Where y'all at? It don't take that long to get naked. And then you could hear somebody, then she said, you going to make it hot like what? I said the same thing. Get him first. He should be the first one to go down because he's the one who should have stayed to make sure Shanquilla was okay. He should have been the one to jump in to break up the fight and say, nah, we ain't gonna go down they ain't gonna go down like this today and here. He should have been the one to intervene between the conflict, these two, if there was any conflict that these two women were having, but instead he stood back, oh, ain't you gonna fight like a little bitch? You know what? Take his ass to Mexico and let them motherfuckers in Mexico, them cartel men, put his ass up in there, strip him naked, and all of them take turns. Do every goddamn thing they can to him. I wish for the most highest level of punishment to come to this man. That's the way don't do that to somebody. You get them all the way to a foreign country, like I said in the beginning, away from their parents, away from her family that loves her friends that really, true friends that cared about her, and all the other great things going on in her life in the United States of America, down in Charlotte, North Carolina, and you take that girl down there to humiliate her and get some bully like Deja Nay, some monstrous, and you can see she was getting ready. She was prepping herself down on the ground. Remember the camera? She doing the push-ups, her and the other one. The other one that's supposed to have, somebody said the rumors about the videotape that's supposed to be going viral now, or supposed to have, the father had said, I ain't never hear Mr. Robinson, Shaquilla's dad, mention anything about any. I need to probably go back and listen to all of that stuff again, but only tape I know everybody been talking about is his daughter being stripped naked like that in the floor of that villa, in the master room, and was beaten in front of everybody like that. Just beat down, and nobody tried to stop the fight. And that videotape went viral. And the person, I think, we released the videotape, it was either two people. I believe in my heart it was Elise. And the reason I feel it was Elise, because on the October 28th, it's just been reported that her sister died being murdered at some, what you call it, motel or motel up in North Carolina by her boyfriend. And she still went on this trip to Cabo, Mexico, that she had to stay more loyal to these people than to stay behind to grieve with her mother and the loss of her sister. She had to get on that flight to go there to be with loyalty to either Khalil, Deja Nay, Winter, Donovan, and this other one named what's his name again? Makai, whatever his name is. Okay, I don't know. We still trying to figure out what was his role to do in this whole thing, the whole setup of this whole plot. We still trying to figure out Nazir's place. So he's so far the only one who hasn't been hiding and who has came to social media. Maybe just to confuse us or whatever. Maybe that was his part to make it seem like, well, you stay behind, then you come in later. After we don't finish it up, we get the thing, you do the damage control, you get the people out there confused, make it look like nothing like that happened. Maybe seem like it was alcohol poisoning. You was in the room, the doctors came, they did examine her, they wanted to rush her they didn't say anything about the hospital, say she was over there stooped over, the maid found her. All these crazy stories just popping up, all these different stories and everything because of what they told the mother. Because what the mother said is that it was confusing from then because everybody had some different stories. So his job was to come in and make it more confusing so that could stall more time so that they can get their plan together, so they could try to find a way that they can escape, because they knew that some kind of way it was going to turn out that when that autopsy report got back, that autopsy report was going to tell the truth, and that Shanquilla's family was not going to stop because they loved her that much, and she got that kind of praying mother, and she got that kind of daddy that loved her, a man that worked hard, led his family, took care of his family, stayed working all the time, managing to make sure his kids were okay, his wife was okay, and his daughter was okay, and trying to take care of his responsibility of a man leading his household. And he was out on the field working somewhere, and you knew everything about them more than anybody, Khalil. Khalil knew the whole how to do everything, how to make everything work the way he wanted to make it work, because he was the one who stayed close to this girl for 5 years. To get to know her, to get to know her routine, to get to know about her family, about her money, about her plan for her business and everything else like that. Khalil knew the most about her, someone that was the closest to her among all the rest of them. That's why I was like saying, when everybody was up there saying Deja Nay, they already know Deja Nay was the one that put her hands on her and would beat her down like that. But who was the person who gave the orders? Who's the mastermind? Khalil. And maybe the government is telling us that the Mexican government is looking for a woman, but they probably not. They already know that the woman knows she's going to try to run whatever, whatever, but she ain't so far away. She ain't so far away. She couldn't get far away. You know the reason why she couldn't get far away? Because from the time that tape went viral, and everybody all pointed it on and put it all like, hey, they coming for you. She already know. Okay? They coming for her. If anything get found, because she's the one who is the one everybody eyes is on. But Khalil is the mastermind. He's the culprit. But the thing I'm trying to say about Nazir, for him to show up a day late in his timing and his name not showing, I don't know how he showed y'all his flight ticket or whatever. Him supposed to be arriving there. It's supposed to have been like 1 o'clock or so, 12 o'clock. He left out of Dallas, Texas. His flight left from there to be in Mexico. He left out of there at 10 something in the morning a.m. and he's supposed to have arrived in Mexico at 1 something in the morning. I mean, 1 something in the afternoon. I'm sorry. He said it took him about an hour, like trying to get the story together from what they told him, so that he can keep, everybody confused about the timeline. Like for him to look innocent, to get them more time while everybody's listening to him and getting confused with what he's saying, so nothing can really make sense and drives everybody crazy and wild, and that just gives them more time so that they can make an escape. And I don't know who came up with this the police report and the doctor's report and everything, the coroners and whatever report that they gave of the time that she's supposed to have died is not adding up with the same time from the report they got from the autopsy up at the coroners in Mexico or whatever. But of course, it had to be another one given because I heard it on the mainline media, Federal. They also are looking for great, because the government here is saying they don't have to serve them up to Mexico. We can deal with it right here. You know what I'm saying? It's just that it's some kind of, Interpol got to go on. It's going to be an Interpol of other, places of travel and places or whatever, like they got to get together to bring this girl family, the Robinson family, to bring the Carborough 6 justice to the Carborough 6. Because for them doing something like this, a lot of people got young people and young daughters, young sons, whatever, that's off to college, have friends, want to go out and drink and party, and maybe sometimes take a little vacation to visiting, Caribbean islands, or maybe go to Mexico and have fun and stay at a villa or whatever. And all of this stuff is getting involved with somebody's money and somebody's business, and also making people think about their own kids. So everybody want a piece of these people. The Carborough 6, stay on their necks. Justice for Shanquella, comfort and peace for that family. They deserve it for what they had to endure and what they had to see happen to their daughter on her trip, on her vacation, and things that she was out to try to do for her life as an entrepreneur. And it's just breaks your heart. It really breaks your heart. And there's no way you cannot talk about this and that you don't want to see justice served. That they should not be allowed to get away with this. They should not be allowed to get away with this. Stop every air flight, looking for them, passports, wherever they might be, where they might be moving at. People might have to go to some family house, kick down the feds might have to go and bust inside some doors, do some bounty hunters, send some bounty hunters, go to their jobs, throw cameras in they, just her, make them feel so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Until they surrender themselves. And we want them to come out alive too. We want them alive. We don't want them dead. That's too to have them dead is not gonna get no answers. We want them alive. We want them alive for their punishment. We want them the same way they took that girl to that foreign land just to murder her and try to get away with it. We should want them alive. Don't want them out dead. Comfort them, bring them alive, humiliate them in front of the whole world can see it. And the interesting thing about this is that it's not only just black people looking at this. There's people from Africa. There's people from Europe. There's people that's looking at this that come from all places of the world. It's internationally known now. Because I'm reading some people in the chat comments. I'm reading, going on some of the lives. I'm seeing some of the people on Justice for Shanquella. Shout out from Ireland. Justice for Shakira from Africa, from Togo, Africa, from all different nations and all different worlds that want to see justice done to these people for how they humiliated that girl in front of the world. Because once something hit the internet and it goes viral, it goes all over the world. And that's what they did, trying to humiliate her. That's how we want to humiliate them. Go knock down mama's door, go knock down grandma's door, go knock down whoever make their life so uncomfortable. We even have their own family members want to turn them in. And do not be hiding them. Because they're not going to bring you no peace. So here they go. Yeah. But I said the person I think did release the two people, I would say, is Malik and Elise. Out of those two were the ones who put that video on the internet for everyone to see it. Out of those two, either they did it exactly. But some people can't do that, Gail. They can't do it. They didn't, because if it ain't something that was given to you, that was poured into your life to do, if nobody ever taught you any better, you just don't know any better. Just like Mr. Bernard said, Shanquilla's father, he said, who raised you people? Your family ain't even reach out to me. Your mother's nobody. I know who y'all are. The family that been at my house, the ones who been around my daughter and everything, and some of y'all, I met your family, because you know how the people do in the South. You know somebody's child, somebody know your child. Y'all might see each other. I mean, not really hang out with, but y'all know the family. Y'all know the family, so y'all, it's but especially when that's how those Southern customs and them Southern ways. You see people, children, and you greet them, and you see people, oh yeah, I know that's so-and-so child. I went to school with so-and-so father. I know him. I know. Y'all know who Mr. Bernard is, the family of these people, that these monsters, these disgusting demons that took that girl out there. Y'all know who that family is. Y'all know the Robinson family. The Robinson family down in Charlotte, North Carolina knows the Robinson. The people know the Robinson family. These Khalil Cook or whoever, your mama and daddy, and them probably went to school with Mr. Bernard. You know how the South do things. None of y'all reached out to even say you sorry. I'm sorry my child did this. He definitely needs to be punished for this. And I'm not going to make no excuses for it because it was unnecessary. That was not necessary for them to do. Plead with these family and everything else like that. But the sword is going to come to your own household. And like Elise, she might have released the video, so that was her way of saying, this is the truth. This is what we really did to your daughter. Because she felt some type of way because of what happened to her sister. And she didn't stay to grieve with her family in the loss of her sister. Or it could have been Malik, because he probably is like, oh my God, I feel bad that this happened. And I want to bring her family the truth. I want to tell her mother the truth. Out of those two are the only two that I could think of that could have released that video. I doubt if it was Donovan, and I doubt if it was definitely Dejanay. She ain't gonna want people to know that she's a bully and that she was beating on this girl even when this girl refused to even fight her back. And of course, it wasn't Khalil, or may have been Khalil. Beat her, but it wasn't supposed to be kill her yet. But the plot was to kill her, but they was going to keep her there, and they were going to probably keep her hostage and try to get money from the family. Because what, because of what really is suspicious to me is why when her mother said they didn't have $5,000 to take Shanquilla to the hospital because she had international insurance. Then the phone call comes again. She passed away of alcohol poisoning. I'm not going to go too much more with this. I gave my side of this, what I think of everything, and my voice from the community. For justice for Shanquilla, stay on their necks. And we are not going to stop talking about it until justice has been served. Because now that time has gone on, somehow people are missing. The warrants are out for that one person, but the warrant should be out. Hopefully they can find that person that's supposed to be for the warrant, and somebody will turn them in. Time is winding down. We want them in alive. Alive. We want to see them humiliated. We want the book to be thrown at them. We want to see them getting handcuffed, dragged out of whatever mud hole they are hiding in, or whatever, wherever that somebody got them hiding in the woods somewhere. Search put the helicopters on call the what you call again, the National Guards and everything, call the airline, get all the planes up in the air to hunt them down, to find out where they at. Stalk out their family houses or whoever relatives they might be hiding out at right now. Because we want justice. Like I said, bring them out alive. And for Mexico to get their hands on them too. So anyway, your girl Casey McDaniel, you gotta go. I gotta heat up something to eat. This is my first time being not really uppity up for the whole week. I've been home all week, but I just been not feeling well. I've been sick. I caught a really bad chest cold, and I just had to take some time. Jesus is Savior. Them people don't want no Jesus. I know Jesus. They don't want no Jesus, because if they wanted Jesus, they wouldn't have done what they did. If they wanted Jesus, they should have done the right thing and allowed that girl to have lived, and they shouldn't have never allowed nobody to destroy that girl and humiliate. Yes. Oh, you're welcome, Gail. No, we want her out a lot. We want these people alive. The Malik, that's his name. I hope I'm saying the right name. The Khalils, Nazir, Donovan, the Dejanay, the Alish, and all of the other girl, Donovan, the Carbo 6. We want the Carbo 6 brought to justice. And we want them to be punished at the highest level of the justice scale. And also, we want them to be punished at the highest level of the Mexican jurisdiction. With that all being said, yep, the police know who they are and they will find you. Just a matter of time because we're going to keep the pressure and stay on their neck. Anyway, y'all, I love you. So do I. You all be safe, healthy, and peace.